So here we go.
Love it, yeah.
David, welcome to the Shred Coach podcast. I forgot to tell you, it's really important you keep your microphone really close to your face because otherwise they can't hear you. But David, welcome to the Shred Truck by Shred Tech podcast studio in the back of a shred truck of all places. Isn't that cool?
Yeah, very cool. And it's really looking cool in here.
I know it's kind of a weird, funky zone. And you'd never think, but this is a podcast studio. So here we are. David, who are you and what do you do? Tell me about you.
So I'm Dave Durso. I work for Fiserv and Clover, the Clover division of Fiserv. Fiserv owns Clover and First Data, the largest payment processor in the United States in 156 countries as of last week because now we're in Australia.
Wow. That's impressive. So what's interesting to me is, why are you at this show?
Nate and I got together last year before the Tennessee iSigma show, and he wanted to offer discounts and a benefit to all the members. And between he and I, we put together numbers that are unbeatable. So we're a direct processor.
Right.
So most other processors use us to process their transactions.
Okay, so you're like the back end behind them.
Pretty much, yes.
Yeah.
We move $3 trillion a year. So we have the ability to keep low cost and get your money faster.
Got it.
Help you with work cash flow. So there's a lot of great benefits that Nate wished to bring to the membership, and he worked with Fiserv to bring it.
Okay, and so you created a program, sort of a program for anyone who's a member of iSigma, and is predominantly payment is that the whole thing, payment processing? What's the whole package?
Yes, so we process credit cards to next day, and to pay you next day, and we also do check acceptance.
Oh, okay.
Also known as ACH.
Yeah, you do ACH. Okay.
So those are funded the next day as well. And the pricing on check acceptance, I have not seen any competitor ever come close to what we charge.
Okay, so let's just take a standard example, because I'm just going to throw a standard example out. If you process through like a processor like Stripe or like Braintree or PayPal, right? You're in the 2.95 plus 30 cents or something like that. And if they're in person, it's a little bit less. Mm-hmm. How does what the iSigma package does look different than that?
Great question. So we do have a lower rate than your PayPal, Stripe, and such. We also don't have a contract, so you're not embedded into anything or handcuffed to any rate. Also, the main thing is a buffer, right? So if you call Stripe, Square, or any other competitor, well, they're not much of competitors, but any other processor, then you're really handcuffed to whoever the customer service is on that side.
Right.
They don't have any skin in the game in the membership. They don't have to see you every single year and look you in the eyes and say you charged me $500 for some silly technology fee. So, okay, all right, so Clover charged you $50 for a technology fee. Not a problem. I will get rid of that, and I'll get rid of it even faster than you can imagine. So that is another reason why my value comes to the table a little bit greater, because I am your buffer. I am the person that will manage your account. You're not going to be rolling the dice getting anybody on the phone.
So part of this is that you're uniquely connected. I mean, there's a package that iSigma got with Fiserv, but you're essentially the rep for this industry. Is that how I understand it?
Correct.
Okay.
So if you go to the iSigma website and go to members and then choose member benefits, card processing or check acceptance will be there. You click on that and you'll be able to find me on the website.
Okay. And so how does somebody work with you? So like one of the challenges, like when I hear the word Clover, that seems to me like it's when you go to a retail store and there's a Clover terminal there, but we're in a different industry. So we're driving shred trucks, and if we're doing a residential pickup and we're running, are you offering scan? Like, what's the total offering? Because there's credit card processing, which a lot of companies do, but like, how do you do it when you're like, do you have apps? So like, what's the delivery vehicle for getting this payment? Like, how does a say a shredder or a record storage company work with you ultimately, not just on the processing and the fees and getting the money in their account, but the physical activity of doing that?
There's a bunch of different garage doors you can open for that.
Okay,
right?
let's open all the garage doors you want to.
So let's open the big garage door, right? So when you go into a convenience store or any other
Yeah.
store, you have your POS system.
Yeah.
You go into a restaurant, you have your POS
Right.
system. You have the people coming to your table with a handheld POS
Right.
system. All right, so that's one garage door. A second one would be something more smaller, similar to our handhelds that all carry SIM cards. So although you can tether them to your phone, you can also have it enable its own SIM card. So anywhere your phone has service, the device will have service as well. So now you have your handheld device. Now something similar to that, or something that would be comparable, would be our Clover Go, where one of your drivers would use their phone with a little connected device to be tapped or
Okay.
dipped a card into. Now, that app is also available to run other types of transactions, also to view what the store, what your back office is doing, and see what your numbers are. But essentially, our Clover dashboard is predominantly a really big focus.
Okay.
In our dashboard, it has tons of different things that you can do there to view your reporting. If you have your services itemized, you can see how your services have been utilized and how much you've gained in each service, as well as set up recurring payments. If it's
So you can do whole recurring payments?
recurring
Okay.
payments, purges would be your Clover Go,
Yeah.
and or you can just take the payment over the phone, or I can send you an invoice. And working with Fiserv by Clover by Fiserv, you have the most secure link that your
Okay.
customer is ever going to click on to enter their card information and feel comfortable, because we have never been breached.
So how about things like connections to things like QuickBooks, and like do you have great interconnect API, all that kind of stuff?
So yes, we have an open API through
Okay.
Clover on REST. One of my partners is also Shredmetrics, and Shredmetrics is taking advantage of that API integration, and we are going to be processing for them to make their processing cheaper and their payments
Okay.
coming in faster.
Good. Yeah.
So we do have our open API, and yes, and yeah.
So how does it? So a lot of I've noticed in our community, a lot of companies are adding payment pages on their website. So there's the call and get the credit card payment, but some people send out invoices and then they come to their website to pay. Do you have integrations for that kind of thing? So like pay on website, those kind of things?
Yes, so we have the pay on websites, the pay now. It will open up to a choice of if I want to pay with my banking account or if I want to pay by credit card.
And does that jump over to you, or does that stay on a shredding company's website? Does it stay there, or does it jump over to your platform?
So that depends on how we depends on the gateway
Okay.
and how we structure it with the web designer.
Okay.
And just to rewind just a moment, just to get back to you mentioned QuickBooks. So QuickBooks, we have our accounting sync. So when you go onto our Clover dashboard, you can go to our accounting sync tab and add and connect us to QuickBooks. Sage is so close and very, very close, and we will have Sage.
Well, the problem with Sage, just so we're clear, is Sage has 36 different versions of Sage. So you can connect to Sage 50, but not Sage 100 or whatever the number is. It's
Yes.
like I get that. At least QuickBooks Online is a little bit more, more relevant, I think, in our world here. It's not that there's not Sage people and other people here, but primarily QuickBooks. So as long as there's a sync going there, that's pretty cool. So,
Yes, and QuickBooks Online is great for us.
Good.
QuickBooks, some very, very small portion of people are still on desktop.
Yeah.
And those are the only ones that that we cannot get into, the desktop legacy customers.
So by and large, the value proposition of coming to Fiserv through the iSigma first and foremost, it's you get a much better price. If you're processing 10,000, 100,000 a month, you're going to save some significant money.
That is the goal.
Yeah.
And to get it faster for cash flow reasons and to get your ACH payments faster.
Got it.
And we also have Clover Capital. So
Okay.
Clover Capital, if you have problems getting funded by a bank, we have the funding for you in 2 to 3 business days.
And so you're using Clover Capital. So if you start seeing on an average basis, there's $20,000 going through processing, you're funding a portion of that.
Great question.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we go
Okay.
up to 75% initially.
Okay.
And then after a few Clover Capitals, then you can work your way up to way more than 100% of what you process on a monthly basis.
And my guess is that capital investment then is taken out of ongoing payments coming back to you.
Yeah. So
Okay.
so every night when you close out your batch out, depending on the amount and depending on the term of payback, it's usually about an 8-month calculation.
Okay.
So depending on the 8-month calculation, the dollar amount, and how much you process, it could be a 10% or 20 or anywhere between 10% and pardon me, between 7% and 20% out of your daily batches to repay the cash.
So
cash
cool.
advance.
Well, that is really cool because more and more I'm seeing this industry, and I think I said to you, I do a lot of coaching in this industry, and I get to see inside of the hood of a lot of our companies. And one of the things is historically there was a lot of invoicing, right? End of the month invoicing, and then you just waited for payments. But I've seen very specifically over the last 5 years the credit card, the real movement towards full credit card ACH payments has really picked up. Although there's a lot of companies that still, they go to the post office 3-4 times a week and collect the checks because that's just such a big part of it. But you're bringing in something really new. It's connected to iSigma. And so anything else you would like to say about your product, your service? I think you've covered most of it. Did I miss anything? Did we miss anything?
Yeah, I mean, listen, with check acceptance, we all deposited checks before in our lives, and we've known that maybe they'll, out of $1,000, they may fund you $100 today, and then the rest in 3 to 4 days. The check acceptance is next day. That is really powerful and brings a lot of great cash flow to a lot of businesses. Yeah, I mean, that's the goal, is to make it faster and cheaper.
Good. Well, man, it's so good to have you, David, and to be a part of this community now, to be providing a service that's connected to the whole community, and we get significant discount as a result of that. So thank you. Thank you for sharing it. Thank you for being on the podcast, and continued success. I hope that next year when I see you, you've grown the number of people under your care, and it's been a good year for you.
I'd love to work with everybody, and I really look forward.
Sweet. Thank you.
Thank you.